I am Dr. Edward Summers, and this is a big LGBTQ story for today. Let's queer up the U.S. view. New study reveals no LGBTQ people live in these 5 states. Well, almost none. The Williams Institute at UCLA has revealed a detailed map of queer presence in the United States, showing that queer communities exist in every state. Between 2020 and 2021, 14.1 million Americans identified as LGBTQ, comprising 5.6% of the total population. Some point out the number of queer people could be as high as 7%. However, there are some states with smaller proportional queer communities compared to others. This lonely LGBTQ states include South Carolina at 4.9%, North Dakota at 4.9%, Iowa at 4.7%, Alabama at 4.6%, North Carolina at 4.4%. Interestingly, there are not many Friends of Dorothy, the secret code among gays in Mississippi. They are the nation's smallest number of just 4.1%. Interestingly, the South, which is often perceived as less queer-friendly, is home to the largest regional queer population. Southern states house 5.2 million LGBTQ adults, accounting for 36.9% of all queer people in the United States. That's pretty interesting. The South, the fact that the South has more queer people than the North. You know, you always think of big cities like New York, Chicago, LA having way more gays than the South. So it's very interesting that the fact that the data has shown that the gays are all over the South. I found it interesting that North Carolina had a pretty low rate of LGBTQ folks, given it's become one of the sort of emerging progressive areas. When you think about politics, oftentimes North Carolina is kind of referred to as like this can be purplish kind of state, and you sort of, I correlate at least, purplish states with being more liberal, being more open, therefore being more gay-friendly places. And so I'm shocked that North Carolina has that low of amount of gays in it. But overall, I mean, gays are all over. We knew this, right?
We're everywhere, but I think that it would be interesting to correlate to see if the job market changed, because it seems in the last 5 years the job markets have been going to the southern states, whether it be because of tax advantages for the businesses, or just warmer weather. You know, right. Not having to deal with 4 seasons, if that's an issue. I know in South Florida, being specific, we're in a huge boom right now, and you couldn't tell that there was any kind of financial problems, right, because everything's a $1 billion condo now. So, you know, jobs go where money goes. Yeah,
I think part of it too is the COVID, the fact that a lot of people, given that their jobs were remote during COVID, and it continued to stay remote, or now it's kind of hybrid that people can work from wherever. So a lot of folks said, screw it, I'm going down south. I mean, I'm that transplant from New York, here in South Florida, born and raised in New York, and came down during towards the tail end of COVID, right? But I think that there's a lot of that having to do with the fact that the southern states have more presence of LGBTQ individuals. And, you know, it's warmer. I don't want to be in a cold. I hate the cold now. And I'm born and raised in New York. Hate the cold. Don't want to go back. I'm going back for Christmas and then coming right back, you know, because I hate the cold so much. And so I think that, you know, that all of these play into why we're seeing a larger population down here.
Only thing that I could see as being an issue for some of the states would be not only just the economics of the state, but also the dominance of the religious community. That's what I think is interesting. We were talking before we started this segment, and a state like Missouri is at 6%, and that stuns me. I'm from Missouri, and right now there's a huge, huge dominance of these Christian nationalists. And I'm stunned that the population is so strong, but I know where it is. It's in St. Louis, it's in Kansas City, and it's in Columbia, Missouri, which is the main university city. Well, so, you know, those are the 3 strengths for the gay community in Missouri. Right. So it makes sense. But the rest of the state, you might have 4 people. You know? But
that at least identifies.
Yes, honestly,
right?
Honestly identifies. But you know, it's just interesting to see where the population is congregating, right, and how it's changing with the realities of both business and financials, and, you know, home values and all those standard things, which means that we follow the trends like a lot of people.
That's
there
right.
has been a large trend to go down south.
Right. I mean, before COVID, the cost of living was so much more cheaper in the South. So why not move to the South, particularly?
And homesteading and all of those
That's right.
other benefits. So
Absolutely.
it'll be interesting to see. I'd like to get more information about that.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see it in the next 5 years, particularly. I know we've seen this emergence in the southern states, but I would love to see if there's any correlation with the new President Trump and whether people are moving out of states like Florida and other places that tend to be a little bit more conservative or not.
It's getting very red down here.
Yeah. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.